This is your class live video for your Mockingbird. The first thing I'd like to go over with you is what the assignment is actually asking you to do. In 500 words, explain how the characters of Jem and Scout develop over the course of Part 1 in To Kill a Mockingbird. Discuss how they change and grow and what themes are revealed through their character development. So there is a lot going on in this prompt here. So we'll be discussing Jem and Scout, how they're growing, and how that growth is revealed in the themes. And so there's a lot to be talking about in each of your paragraphs. Now you can split this up so that your first paragraph talks about Jem and Scout, and then the second paragraph talks about how they've changed and grown, and then a third paragraph can talk about what themes are revealed through their character. Or you could try and pack all of that information into each paragraph with each example. So you might talk about how Jem changes and how those themes are revealed through his character, how Scout changes and how those themes are revealed through her character, and have it be split up in a body paragraph like that. I do want to review the themes with you for this story, just to help make sure that you know what kind of themes we're looking to reveal. The major themes that can be found in Harper Lee's work is that compassion, empathy, the concept of social justice, moral courage, and the question of good and evil. And all of these appear throughout the novel. Compassion, we see how Atticus wants Jem to treat Mrs. Dubose with compassion and empathy to understand her suffering. Now, the concept of social justice and moral courage comes out, particularly when Atticus takes on the case of Tom Robinson and how he tries to instruct Jem and Scout to behave while that trial is occurring. And Jem really seems to kind of master this concept of social justice and moral courage, whereas Scout, because she is younger and a little less aware, does struggle a bit with those two concepts. And then finally we have the question of good and evil, and it's said in the book, I believe at one point, that suddenly these wonderful neighbors that they had were shouting really awful things about Atticus because he defends Tom Robinson, and we'll see a lot more of that happening in the second half of the book, and it's a very, very powerful narrative about how people can be good and evil. There is this wonderful little chart. I'm sorry I've had to shrink it down enormously, but there's this great chart in this assignment that tracks some of the major changes for Jem and Scout, kind of with Atticus being their catalyst of change, and some questions to ask yourself and or answer in your essay that are going to help really drive that essay home and make it a very strong, successful essay. So do take time to look at this chart and to fill it out. It's going to help formulate your essay. I would like to go over with you kind of the brief body outline of what I'm expecting from your paragraph. Remember, 500 words, this should be a 5-paragraph essay, and it's really not that many, 100 words per paragraph, that's maybe 3 or 4 sentences. It shouldn't be too tough to get to. So when you're writing an introductory paragraph, particularly about literature, it's important to include the context of the story. So you could discuss the background of what's happening in Maycomb at this time. You could discuss Harper Lee. Make sure you include Harper Lee's name and the title, To Kill a Mockingbird, in your introductory paragraph. Discuss your main points. So we'll be talking about Jem and their changing, and your thesis, which should have something to do with how the growth of the characters reveals theme. Your body paragraphs, we'll start with the topic sentence. Jem changes because he is more aware of social justice. And you might go on to discuss about how Jem reacts when he sees that the tree has been cemented up, so Boo Radley can't give them gifts anymore. And he really gets upset about this, and he talks about, that was Boo's only interaction with the outside world, and it's been taken from him, and he doesn't feel that this is just. So you'll have evidence, which should come in the form of a quote from the book, if possible. You'll need to explain your evidence, like I just did, and then tie it back to your thesis. So this is, his character is revealing theme, because as he's growing, he's realizing not all things are just in the world. And then you'll repeat this with a new piece of evidence, a new explanation, and you'll tie it back to your thesis. Each of your body paragraphs should work this way: a topic sentence, evidence, explanation, tie back to thesis, evidence, explanation, tie back to thesis. And that's going to be the format of your 3 body paragraphs. Finally, you'll have your concluding paragraph, which should be a mirror of your introduction. It will include your main points, your thesis. Again, your title and author should absolutely appear here. And then some closing context. Right now, we finished part 1. We haven't gotten too far into part 2 yet, so there's not a lot of closure you can provide at this point. But you can provide some commentary about how growing up in the South might have been, how growing up in Macomb is maturing Gem and Scout, or how it's making them grow. But it should be tied to the context of the story that you use in your introductory paragraph. Some do's and don'ts. Do reread for clarity. Absolutely reread. Read it out loud, I recommend. This is going to help you slow down and catch any of your awkward grammatical spelling issues. Also, don't assume that one draft will be perfection. I often send essays back to students asking them to clarify, to fix, to add. That's not for my benefit. That's to get you a better grade. So don't be upset. Just accept it and take a better grade. Do explain and give relevant evidence. It won't be helpful if you're explaining how Gem and Scout are growing up and you note that Dill has grown up. I mean, obviously Dill will grow up with Gem and Scout, but that's not what this essay is about. This essay is about Gem and Scout, so using quotes about Dill aren't necessarily going to help you. Don't use personal pronouns or talk about your essay as an entity. No I, no personal I in your essay. No my essay will, or this essay is going to. Just don't do it. And use direct quotes from the book. Don't just describe a scene and say, oh, there was a time when Gem watched his dad shoot the gun at the dog. No, go back to the text. Quote the text. It's going to make your essay that much stronger and that much more appealing. I think that's it. If you've got any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in class.